What you see here is a Casablanca California Zephyr. 5 blades, 52 inches, polished brass finish. The California Zephyr is an IntelliTouch exclusive model by Casablanca that had its run throughout the first half of the 1990s. I'm not entirely sure on what year it debuted and what year it was discontinued, but all I know is that it was most prominent in the former half of the 90s. Exactly what about this fan lends itself to the California look compared to that of a regular Zephyr, I am not sure. This fan is very different looking compared to your traditional Casablanca Zephyr, so maybe this model is meant to be a sort of continuation to that one, considering that this model likely came out right around the same time that the original Zephyr was discontinued, or maybe this fan does somehow lend itself to California design trends back in the 90s, though I would not know as I have never lived in California and only ever been to the state for a layover flight. This isn't my personal favorite model by any means, however I can definitely see how other people would like them, as it's certainly not a bad look. This model came in 5 different finishes as far as I'm aware, polished brass being the most common by far. Also came in antique brass, snow white, glossy black, and chrome. And possibly 1 or 2 other finishes via custom order. The fan has a K4 style light kit on it. This light kit may have a different technical term for it, but it does definitely resemble a K4, though it has a different cap style and different fitters. The blades are antique oak. And I do have the hang true for this fan, just not using it. And this fan does use the badge-style blade iron system that Casablanca started to popularize in the 90s. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of the badge look. Also, it makes stacking and storing the blades without them tipping over or scratching the badges exceptionally difficult. But, once again, I can see how other people would like this look. And I don't dislike it per se, it's just not for me when you have the more traditional old school look. The IntelliTouch switch for the fan can be seen right here. I am using a W32 on this fan. This is not the W32 that it came with when I bought it, but same deal, so it'll work. Just press that there to ignite power to the fan. Now, this fan doesn't run perfectly by any means. As a matter of fact, it has quite a few issues, but we'll get to that in a moment. First and foremost, show off the light. And of course, it did have the dim function, which I briefly demonstrated as well. The shades don't really match the look of the fan, but it's what I had lying around, and it's one of the most common types of Casablanca glass you can find, so it works for the sake of the demonstration. Now we'll start the fan up on speed 1. And this is where the first problem of the fan will become prevalent, that being that it spins way too slow. As a matter of fact, on speed 1, more often than not, it nigh stalls out. I believe that is because the bearings in this fan are pretty rough. They will start making a lot of scratching and hissing noises once we get up to the higher speeds. But we can't exactly go too high up with this fan, as the IntelliTouch control ceases all functionality once you reach speed 4. I'm not in any way sure why, but every time I press down the fan button and try and get it up to speed 6 or speed 5, it doesn't go that far. It just ceases at speed 4. And yes, I even tried it in demo mode. Didn't work either. So there's speed 1, barely crawling along, which shows that the BFR isn't bad, most likely at least. It's probably an issue with the board. There's speed 2. Speed 3. Speed 4. As you can hear, the bearings are moaning and groaning, aching and itching, making a crap load of noise. Additionally, the flywheel seems to be warped to a significant degree. This fan could definitely be fixed up with new bearings, a new IT board, and perhaps a new flywheel as well. Though it's definitely not a high priority for me, as I don't particularly love this fan. Again, nothing against it, just not really my cup of tea. And I'm now over at the IT switch, and again, pressing the buttons doesn't do anything anymore. Not sure if the audio picked up on the sound of the motor humming, as is what often happens when you press down on an IT switch button. But yeah, I'm not responding to any commands anymore. It is still a nice medium-esque speed, aside from the noisy bearings. shut the guy off. And there you have it, a polished brass Casablanca California Zephyr.